Alrighty. Good morning, class. We are going over lesson 11's discussion. We are answering the questions: what barriers to communication are evident in this fable? It is the case is called The Poorly Informed Walrus, developed by Barbara McCain in Oklahoma City, which is totally excessive information. So we're gonna get straight to it. In this very adorable, sad fable, and unfortunate, there are a few communication barriers that disabled our leader from being an effective leader, rendering our leader to be more of an antagonist rather than a protagonist. I'm going to begin with the old man's fundamental error, which is that Basil, old man's second in command, explains how he essentially fears old man and relates it back to when he remembers how the old man had raved and ranted at him the last time he heard the herd had caught less quota of herring, and he had no desire of going through that experience again. This is very traumatizing for him, and therefore it is not something he wants to go through again. Pinnacle counseling states that when communicating with fear without realizing it, resentment builds and doubt gets infused, emotions run high, and irritability, frustration are more easily triggered. One party feels like they are carrying the entire emotional burden, and the other person ends up feeling stuck due to being totally blindsided by this information. This is again by Pinnacle Counseling. It's an individual source. Ironically, the poorly informed walrus ends with the old man feeling blindsided, just like Pinnacle Counseling kind of not anticipated, which is why I went with this source. It was very, very relatable between the two. Anyways, these barriers were directly affecting the upward flow of communication. Testing the waters, Basil decided to filter the news that more walruses had shown up on the beach to lessen his odds of getting yelled at. Ultimately, he avoided the topic and allowed the old man to hear what he wanted to hear. Essentially, old man was selectively listening for only good news and would freak out for any bad news instead of properly managing his conflicts. Because of the fundamental error, the old man made the impression was stuck with Basil, causing his fear to later lead to avoidance, which was a natural defensive strategy that he made. In the end, after the conflict, Basil reverted to silence, which didn't help their information process. And that sums up our whole lessons for this week. So thank you for tuning in. Have a good one. Go vote.